All right, so here's a test of my little MicroStat thermostat code. There's quite a bit of code that I've been working on for the buttons and keeping track of things, and I have a config file that saves. We need to have test run because test run is just what it's going to be. So I'll go ahead, make sure it's uploaded, and then we'll go ahead and run it. It loaded from the disk what the last mode was, what the last menu mode was, what the last desired temperature was set, and what the system was set to. Now I can go, and since it's on menu mode temp, I can turn the temperature down, turn it up. I clamped it so that it will only go to 80 and it'll only go down to 60. So you can't go down too far. This is adjustable. I have it set up in the MicroStat right here, upper and lower limit, and you can change that. So that's the temperature setting. Then there's a menu button right here that I can push that sets it to system mode. So then in system mode, you can say what mode. It's either heat, cool, dual, or off. No matter what you set it to, you can go back to temperature mode and change the temperature. And even if you effectively stop it, remember it was set to 64 degrees and it's menu mode temperature and the system mode is set to cool. So now when we run it, it's menu mode temp, 64 degrees, cool. And this all writes to a config file that looks a little something like this. I was having a little bit of issues. I made this config store class to kind of abstract saving everything because I didn't want to have to worry about it. And I can use this in other scripts. Basically, it inits with a certain config file, and anytime you'd set something, it looks to see if it's supposed to be in real-time mode down here. And if it is in real-time mode, it saves it right away, or it queues it up for a save. Now, the reason I did this was because the saves, this little save right here, it's only a few lines of code. It just opens the file, JSON dumps the config, and closes it. That takes like 200 milliseconds or more each time. So whenever I was doing that every time I set something, it would pause or lag behind. So I did this, I set up this whole queuing system. So when you save it, it queues the save, or when you set it, it queues the save. And up here, queuing the save just sets last modified to whatever the current Unix epoch time is. And then in the loop, this is run to see if modified is greater than 0 and what the last time, and then tries to see if it's been long enough, more than 2 seconds, and then it saves. And that's in the part of the loop MicroStat down here, where every time it loops, it does a check save to see if it needs to be saved. And if it does, it saves it, and then it continues on. Now I have a bunch of code in here that I don't really want to go over quite yet, but it's up on GitHub. I would have put a link to this GitHub in the description of the video. All right, that's all I got to show off right now.